I can't offer you more.
From road to dream to...
I know you.
Right good to see you again, Governor. Take all the time you need. Pleasure doing business with you, Governor.
Better not be giving, but... Better get out there before Mulder's all right? Don't insult me. I wouldn't expose my people, but if you find out who did it, shake their hand for me. That's right. Lost one of my best lads, Anhar. Didn't get Jalia's body back, though. Maybe one of them beasts took her like they did the sorcerers. Well, I reckon that's good news. Poor thing. She'll be back in time. We will, once the Reds turn down the alarm, whatever needs doing.
Nice show out there. You're smouldering, you are. That's Murga's call. I abide by her yeas and nays.
What's this? I found something.
This time.
For Alexander the Innocent, killed by sorcerers.
You want an engraved invitation every time? You want an engraved invitation every time? You know the way. my friends, for Alexander the Innocent, killed by sorcerers, a most vile
at the White Majesty's junction.
a valiant warrior and
Arguing with Mac is like giving me.
Another sorcerer on the loose. I knew they should have cut off the Meister's head and burnt.
Arguing with Mac is like giving medicine to the dead.
Pretty good, ain't it? Probably ain't against writing a poem for a lizard either.
I doubt a reptile could appreciate the beauty of Barstan's gentle melodies. I consider me...
all the odds.
Have you ever even met a sorcerer?
You have interrupted my newest masterpiece!
The bard clears his throat and gargles on his own saliva. He then returns to his poem, but his voice cracks.
Well, never you mind. Every sonnet I compose is a masterpiece, and my muse has been begging me to write something new. Wait! You might be just the stimulus I needed. I shall craft a rhyme for you and your race. All I ask in return is a handful of coins. It's an offer of a lifetime. Normally I'd argue with you, but you do have a certain look about you. Very well. But if I am to write a first...
He stares at you for a few torturing moments.
Let's cut to the chase, lizard. Your kind has built an empire on the backs of slaves, reaping the rewards of the innocent's toil. Do you condemn your kin?
He smiles a crooked smile and runs a hand through his greasy hair.
It isn't just slaves that suffer, though, is it? You eternally seek perfection, though offer no room in the creaking empire machine to the sage or the savant. What say you? This superiority complex, this haughtiness, so cold. Others see you for what you truly are, monsters. Loveless, heartless, ruthless. You know it to be true.
The bard hems and haws, then bellows his next words to anyone who might hear.
To all lovers of verse, I bring glorious news. An empire built upon the backs of slaves does not deserve the faintest breath of praise. Eternally, the servants toil and sweat.
Ah, finally. Your colleague over there is absolutely useless. I'll have a bowl of the house stew, if you please. Oh, pity. I've been trying to get a little something to eat all day. After all I've been through, too.
He lowers his gaze, then looks up at you expectantly. His lip trembles dramatically.
It's my mentor. My dear mentor. He was killed by those void beasts. I told him we ought not to travel in the hills, but would he? No. Now here I sit, my closest companion gone, our precious cargo worth more than Lucian's right ring, lost to the beast-infested wilds. And the waiter won't even bring me any stew. Oh, then perhaps my luck has changed. Yes, perhaps this awful business might soon be behind. Tell me, how are you with, well, Void Woken? Ah, terrific news. Then what I ask will be little more than a trifling. My mentor, Liam, and I were hauling in a goodly number of fine wares from the Southlands when we crossed paths with a great brute of a Void Woken. It made short work of Liam, may the gods rest his soul. I managed to escape, but my precious cargo was left behind. We'd invested our entire livelihood in those wares. I'd do anything to get them back. Very, very well, that's how. That cargo is worth more than a pretty penny, and I'll owe its retrieval to you and you alone. Now, give me your map. I'll show you just where to look. I doubt those beasts out there have any use of such a cargo. I can't tell you how...
Tolerated state. Abandon love and turn to worthy quests. Infatuation is but pointless jest.
She nods an uninterested greeting.
Here for the fight? This is a tavern. People are drinking. Eventually there'll be a fight. You planning on starting one? Buy me a drink and I'll think about it. Cheers. Later then.
She doesn't lift her gaze from... He fixes you with a stare, looks you up and down, weighs you up, the cut of your cloth, the weight of your bag. And then a smile creases his face, a smile carefully constructed to look friendly and authentic, a smile that doesn't reach his eyes.
Greetings, my lord. Looking to ease the pain of a decaying world? You're in the right place. Beers are ordered at the bar, but can I interest you in a nourishing bowl of stew?
He purses his lips. His fingers drum a pattern on his elbow as he assesses you. A lascivious smile spreads across his face. His tongue darts from his mouth to lick the spittle from his...
Let me ask you this. Across the world, who is renowned above all others for their exquisite lovemaking abilities? My dear Prince, I'm sure this is true. But I believe one of your kin is even more talented than your good self. And for an insignificantly small sum, I can make the introductions.
He holds out his hand.
We don't have anything else to discuss.
What can I get you?
A prim woman in a starched apron wipes a glass with a clean rag. She pins you with blue, steel-sharp eyes as you approach the bar.
Blessings upon our Lucian, 7 times divine.
What can I get you, my dwarven friend?
With surprising agility for a woman of her age, she reaches over the bar and swings a hand toward your face. You brace yourself for the incoming blow, but she instead points her finger into your face.
We don't speak of His Holiness that way in this establishment.
Don't expect no small portions. Same size and price for everyone.
Well, you can't be blamed if your mother didn't teach you any better. But that can't be helped now, I suppose. Not everyone received the same education as my Niles. He's a magister, mind. Dead. So what are you after? We've only got amber ale, I'm afraid. Can't spare the potatoes for hard alcohol. If you'd like something that'll stick to your ribs, I'd flag down Loverick and get yourself a bowl of the house stew. Coming right up, darling?
The cook acknowledges you with a small bow, an oddly formal gesture given the surroundings.
Please, sir, you should not be back here. It's not safe. Cinnamon, not nutmeg. There's a food shortage in these parts. Fresh meat can be hard to come by. Liberal seasoning helps disguise all sorts of sins. Now, please, I must return to my work.
The cook dutifully ladles a bowl full of stew, and the bowl slips from her grasp. Scalding hot stew splashes all over you.
Sincere apologies. I must return to...
I've spotted something. This ring. It bears the Magister seal, and there's blood on it.
What can I do for you? How about a little amber? My boy Niles' favourite. He's a physician in the Divine Order. Mother's pride. Yes, that's my boy. Did you know him? Finest physician in all of Reaper's Coast. Top of his class. My, but it's been too long since I've seen him. A fine physician indeed. That's my boy. Some say all a growing child needs is food and sunshine. I say abstinence and chastity will grow him finer than either one of those. Oh, but it's so good to meet a friend of Niles. Here, have a little something to eat. Niles' favourite, you know. No one in our little town can appreciate work so fine as his, you know. All his instruments and books are stored away upstairs, all but forgotten. It's such a terrible waste.
What can I get you, my dwarven friend?
If you want something, you know.
Well, I'd love to show you, but I'm afraid I can't leave the bar unattended. This crowd isn't a bit trusted, believe you me. But I suppose, well, there's no harm, is there? You seem to be a good sort. One of Lucian's own, isn't that right? Here, take this key and head on up the stairs. You'll find Niles' room there. He'd want to know his fine things weren't languishing unappreciated in his old room.
Abandon love and turn to wealth.
The cook smiles
Another free bowl, perhaps? Well, you can't have any, serpent.
Don't expect no small portions. Same size and price for everyone.
If I want something, and sweat.
Yet
He acknowledges your presence with a nod.
What'll it be? A bold choice, on the face of it. Unless you're looking for something a little more
He raises an eyebrow. An elf sways on her chair, her eyes focused on the counter in front of her, where she has 6 glasses in a row. With the nails of 2 fingers, she's pressing red welts into her forearm. She slides one of the drinks towards you, her head bobbling heavily on her neck as she
Nothing like a glass of the good stuff to smudge everything into a pretty shape.
She slides another glass of ale toward you. Its contents sparkle in the dim barlight.
Bottoms up. Cheers to you, me, and...
Her gaze swivels around the room.
Damien's dull knife. This place is horrible. Never mind. Cheers to you, me, and me again. Another. Ah, down the old ouch. Oh, reckon that was. Reckon that.
Slobbering all over me.
Stew is people and people is stew.
Menu's simple. Eat, or drink, or both.
So what are you going to do now that the White Magister's done shit? Got to pick who you can trust.
You got that right, Hilka. You got that right.
And I'm saying you can trust me. I can see a sorcerer from a mile away. And you can't be too careful, you know? If they can get Alexander, they can get any of us.
You're right about that. Right as rain, Hilka.
This room is temperate enough, is it not?
Quite so, my lord. Quite so.
Lucky find. Should I check the cupboards for ogres?
That's quite all right, my lord.
You've got to pick who you can trust.
You got that right, Hilka. You got that right.
And I'm saying... You can't be too careful, you know? If they can get Alexander, they can get any of
For enjoying a one night with a lizard. Then you're an idiot.
Here now. When one's in a small town, one must expect small town manners, I see. Have you a reason for barging into my room, sir? No harm done, I suppose. Though why I pay good money for these so-called bodyguards is another question entirely. Still, I may as well introduce myself. Baron Levere, at your service. Travels, you say? And why would you assume I'm a traveling man?
He laughs heartily.
Of all things, I wouldn't have thought my accent would give me away, but you're quite right, of course. I am traveling, yes, to Arx. Lucian's Day will be upon us soon, a celebration no man with a heart that is both as pious and mercantile as mine should miss. I go because it is every citizen's duty, our communal obligation to chant the rites of the return and pray for Lucian's divine resurrection. That said, I do have more secular motivations as well. Arx positively overflows with pilgrims during the festival, pilgrims and their purses. As a merchant, it is quite my favorite day of the year. I'm a wealthy man, and wealthy men need protection, especially if they accompany their wealth. The merchant's burden, you see. He must escort his merchandise, always. Music to my ears. If there's anything else you need, know you're always welcome. What on earth is that noise?
Doesn't this room strike you as eerie? But, of course, I should... Better watch yourself, lad.
Careful now. That's a trap.
The bell still rings. What do you want, reptile?
Do you hear it?
Huh. I want another beer and a bowl of stew. Which of us is more likely to get what they want, do you think? Guess that makes me a sinner. Perhaps you can help us settle an argument. Thatcher here is one of my dearest friends, but she isn't the brightest.
Thatcher grins hello.
Our mate Boris got posted to Fort Joy for consorting with lizards. And Thatcher here still fancies a turn around the park with Loverick's lizard. I say she'd be sleeping with the enemy. What say you?
They look at you expectantly.
If I can get Alexander, I don't get any of this.
All right about that. Right as rain, Hilka.
Thatcher looks victorious. Eden looks annoyed.
You're as bad as she is. Get lost then, you're no use to me.
Eden turns back to her drink. Thatcher smiles goodbye.
The experience of a lifetime, is it? It's disgusting, that's what it is. I'll knock it if I want, even if I haven't tried it.
She tips you a wink, then turns...
If they can get Alexander, they can get any of us.
You're right about that.
This is more like it. This room had...
A weathered woman in a dirty sea captain's tunic babbles breathlessly to herself.
The bell rings a warning and the tide is on the turn. And I without my compass. The ship is in the locker. On the bottom in the rocky shallows. And all are drowned but me. And yet, can you hear? The bell rings on. The bell haunts me yet, and it would drive me mad. Perhaps I am already mad. But I swear I hear the bells. Please, make it stop.
She buries her head in her hands and cries.
Make it stop.
The experience of a lifetime, is it? It's disgusting, that's what it is.
Who rings
I'll
the
knock
bell?
it if I want, even if I haven't tried it.
You've got to pick who you can trust.
Built upon the backs of slaves does not...
Useless. Bloody useless. Might as well have rotted in the death fog.
What's even... An elf in tattered red robes shifts through pages of handwritten notes spread across the table.
So many suspects. So many potential culprits. I need to narrow down the list. Think, you damn elf, think.
A floorboard creaks beneath your foot. The elf leaps around abruptly.
What are you doing, lizard? Trying to get the drop on me? Sneak up and slit my throat? Empty bluster, serpent. Now leave me be. My Magister comrades are missing and I'm gonna find them. 3 Magisters vanished so far, all within Driftwood. My comrades believe some tinkerer named Higba is behind it all, but they're wrong. I'm certain of it. That's what I'm intent on finding out. This tavern is full of scum and degenerates. The true culprit could easily conceal themselves amongst them. I have to keep investigating, keep the pressure up. The culprit will make a mistake eventually. If you see anything suspicious, let me know. You do that. Now... What is it? Unless you know something about the disappearances, leave me alone. I need to concentrate.
The elf shrugs listlessly, his eyes scanning his omnipresent collection of notes.
Plenty of suspects. Plenty of maybes. Precious little progress, though. I'm still convinced that the tavern is key to all this, though. I was removed from their ranks due to my elven blood. I'll continue to serve, though. I won't stand to see my comrades taken by some vile traitor. The kitchen? You're certain? But that would mean the cook is behind all this. I have to look into this. I have to confront her.
Intolerant of my needs, none of those servants toil battering all of it.
Murder! You've been killing my comrades.
You should not have seen that. And you cannot unsee it.
Cooking notes? Wait, there's something wrong with this.
now. Got to...
Within the chain. No cost.
Surrounded by incompetence. I deserve a better posting.
The Magister's jaw is tightly clenched as he stares out of the window. He senses you.
What? Those tinkerers all look the same. Well, do you know anything?
The Magister snatches the note and peers at it.
These names, they're the ones who went missing. And others. My name is on here. The cook's been reported dead. How did you get this? Never mind, I thought she was another victim, but this... She must have been the culprit.
He shudders in disgust.
And to think she was so near to us, to me. All this...
He holds out a pouch of gold. You try to take it, but he doesn't yet relinquish his grasp. With his free hand, he wags a finger in your face.
Keep this ugliness to yourself. I wouldn't want it thought that we Magisters can't solve our own problems without throwing gold about.
He lets go of the pouch and turns away.
Belson, my inkwell is dry. Fetch me some
Right
more.
away.
Wait until headquarters hears of my success, and perhaps I'll be promoted. Hell with her! I need those reports, damn it! Belson, my inkwell is dry. Fetch me some more.
Right away.
Hell with her! I need those reports, damn it! Wait until headquarters hears of my success, and perhaps I'll be promoted. Varwit, would you have me die of thirst?
Right away.
Fill my damn cup. Wait until headquarters hears of my success, and perhaps I'll be promoted. Belson, my inkwell is dry. Fetch me some more. Wait until headquarters hears of my success, and perhaps I'll be promoted. Barwind, would you have me die of thirst?
Right away.
Fill my damn cup. Bellwether, I need those reports, damn it. Belson, my inkwell is dry. Fetch me some
Right
more.
away.
Barwind, would you have me die of thirst?
Right
Fill
away.
my damn cup. To think, someone had the nerve to murder Magisters.
State your business to Magister Carver, or else get out.
Bellwether, I need those reports down.
The Meister sits slumped in a chair, looking around the room as she works her shoulder with one hand. It looks...
Damnable red cloak baboons ransacking my wardrobes, as if I would keep ancient valuable secrets in a pile with my unmentionables.
She takes a deep breath, and with a twist, a click, and a screech of pain, she shoves her shoulder back into its socket.
I swear by the seven, if we did not have more important matters to attend to.
Reaching across the table, she pulls a bowl of hot water towards her and fishes some bandages, a needle, and thread out of a box. She slowly starts to tend to her wounds.
At least the barbarians were unable to club their way into my vault, so everything you need should be safe.
The Meister turns to you, her eyes wide with worry.
Oh, pardon. I'm so sorry. How could I have forgotten? Thank you so much. Thank you for rescuing me after they had already strung me up. After they had tortured me for days. After they...
She stops mid-shout, descending into a fit of coughing, wheezing, and groaning. She glowers at you as she slowly regains her composure.
If we are quite finished with politeness, there is so much to do. Enthusiasm? On a weekday? My word. We shall begin once we have the tools we need from my vault. You may have been chosen Godwoken, but becoming divine requires more than a supernatural pat on the head. Come, Godwoken. It is time to see just how awake you are. Fortunately, the Magisters pay as much attention to art as they do to fashion. Kindly remove that painting from the wall. It really is quite simple. In the corner there's a painting. The combination to the vault is 15R34L. I pray my instructions will not be too technical. Your talent for following simple instructions fills me with wonder. Push the button. Now, kindly go to the vault and enter the combination. I shall call it out as you go.
We can go nowhere.
The Meister's back! The Meister's back! She doesn't feel like playing, but...
A stone door lies flush with the floorboards. Etched whorls in the granite frame a delicate rotary dial. Gleaming under the dim light, the metallic dial almost seems taking your time. You can...
Excellent. Follow me. Your time is at hand, Godwoken. Feel free to look about while I catch my breath. Come speak to me when you wish to proceed. And try not to break anything in the meantime.
Ancient rooms, weird contraptions. This place is an arcanist's dream.
Opening the door, you see a selection of ingredients, thrown together in no particular order. Opening the door, after a quick rummage, you spot the blackroot, nestled between the grated dragon's tongue and drudene oil. You gather up the blackroot, obsidian lance, and ancient bowl, and kick the door of the...
Boring.
The Meister is examining her wounds, prodding at this, wincing at that. Her face seems grim as she turns to you.
Do you know what it means to have the power of the divine, Godwoken? You've been playing pretend all your life, but the reality is quite different. No, becoming the divine means taking on the power of all the gods and the responsibility for all the races. The divine was created by the gods to shelter us from the void. The divine cannot use his power for anything else. When you become the divine, there is no more self.
For just a moment, her eyes soften as she looks at you.
It is no small thing to ask, but it is your duty. Without a new divine, Rivellon will die. Very well, then. Let's see if we can't snatch divinity from the jaws of the void. The ritual itself is quite simple. Drop some blackroot in the bowl, mix in a little blood, set the concoction aflame, and then inhale the smoke. Ignore any feelings of dizziness, burning in your lungs, or a dire sense of existential dread. They're all perfectly normal. Although you will need to sacrifice a little sauce along the way. Everything you need is here. The ingredients are in the cupboard, the sauce in the fountain. The ritual is described in the tome by the bookcase, and, well, I'm sure a fine reptile like yourself will have no trouble summoning some fire.
The Meister looks back at her wounds, curiously prodding them as fresh blood oozes out, staining her claws.
And please do not lose anything. I pray you'll be more careful with my materials than with your empire.
As you suck the smoke deep into your lungs, your vision starts to swim and cloud. There is an intense pounding in your head, and you can feel the world fading. As the world fades away, you lose all sense of being grounded. You reach out, but you could feel yourself falling slowly, sinking into the depths of your own soul. Bathed in the half-light of these starless barrens, you spot a figure you could only describe as a second self. It looks haggard and weak, its very voice but a feeble echo of your own.
Red Prince, come. Come closer, so that you may see me, as I look me in the eyes.
The apparition clasps your face in its shaking hands. You suddenly feel your eyes tingle. Everything becomes brighter, sharper. Blacks and whites become glorious bursts of color, then fade back into their accustomed spectrum.
Blind eyes, shine brightly. Speak the spell, and see.
Mirror image of yourself. Before you stands the goddess Zolstissa in all her spectral glory.
You know me now, don't you? I saved you from drowning. I blessed you, made you powerful. And now I've come to seek some power in return. Your god-woken soul is my last refuge, my last bastion. May as well make the best of what you have to offer.
Zolstissa nourishes herself from the source that abounds in your presence. You feel it deep down inside yourself.
Ah, yes. Just what I needed. I tell you, dying just doesn't become a god. The void itself is hunting down the gods, leeching us in ways we never thought possible. Droplet by droplet, we are being drained. We're battling for our very survival. It's a battle we're losing, and should we truly lose, all will be cast into oblivion. To save us both, as a matter of fact, you must realize, Red Prince, that our fates are now as one, just as our souls are now as one. We are I. Together we are a force to be reckoned with. But if we seek to survive the onslaught of the Void, we stand no chance unless we become vastly more powerful than we are now. That means there is but one place we can go. The Well of Ascension. It most certainly will be. The Well of Ascension is a lake, a pool of pure source, in which the powers of the Seven lie united. We gave them up freely to create the first divine. Each of us donated half of that which makes us gods. To bathe in the lake is to become our chosen. That is where the road to divinity leads, and you must be the first to reach it at all costs. There you touch upon the very heart of the matter. The void is stronger than ever. A new divine won't be enough. You need to go to the Well of Ascension. Not to bathe in the source of the Seven, but to take it. All of it. Only he who claims everything will be everything. The Void's doom, this world's liberator. Whatever for? The other gods will either bow to you, or be undone. But of course, that is what they are saying to their own god Woken as we speak. We both know they won't bow, just like we both know you will never bow to them. Only one can become a god strong enough to safeguard our world. One at the expense of all others. So make no mistake, Red Prince. Chances are the road to divinity will be paved with dead gods. But don't let that dismay you. For these sins will be washed clean by the knowledge you committed them to save all of existence. To save your kin, and your loved ones, and your empire. They will be at your mercy, which is vastly preferable to you being at theirs. Wouldn't you agree? So fret not, but revel in the promise of the lake. I will lead you there when you're ready, when you've become a true master of the Source, and speak the language of creation itself. Our journey will be fraught with peril. It is a pilgrimage of challenges that will require you to command Source like only a god Woken can, and wield its most powerful spells.
Laughter rolls and echoes into infinity.
You are quite formidable, my prince. But you underestimate just how much more formidable you could be. We are I now. The spells you need to know I will teach you when you are ready. But first you must learn to channel the Source in greater volumes. That is why you need to seek masters of the Source. You must make them teach you, so that you may become a master in turn. So, return to Rivellon, and seek out these sages where they dwell. Convince them to share with you their deep-seated bond with the Source. Once you have, you may return to me here. Something that'll make you understand that for a god, there is precious little difference between the living and the dead. Source is. It is a constant, a subject of neither time nor transience. All of life is Source, and in Source it is. Immortally so. You have the vision of a god now. Eyes that can see spirits, the souls of the dead made manifest in Source. Speak the spell during your peregrinations, and you will see them. Where the dead lie, the dead linger. And so much more. But I'm no longer who I once was, bound to you as I've become. I will teach you what I can, but the knowledge that will expand the bounds of your soul, that you'll have to hunt for yourself. Best of luck, Red Prince. Go now, Red Prince.
The Meister stares intently at you. Her eyes are tired and bruised, but determined.
Still alive? Gods above, there might be something to you after all.
She leans in, her bloody tongue flickering hungrily about your face.
Tell me, what did you see? What you know?
She sighs impatiently as you hack up the last of the green smoke.
You can't channel enough sauce? Gods be damned, why couldn't you have a nice simple problem? Finding an orc to dance the hornpipe, perhaps? I know exactly what must be done. You must find a master of sauce. And I could have helped you once, but no longer. The purging which the Magisters included as part of their service was quite efficient. They stripped me of my sauce. Not enough to silence me, but enough that I would not turn their insides to lime. Enough to sever my link to the font from which all source flows, and certainly enough that I cannot train you. So we must seek alternatives. Alas, the only source masters not yet hauled off to Fort Joy or turned into meat puppets are those too dangerous or cunning for the Magisters to contain. Sorcerers that allowed their power to corrupt them. Many are wicked, cruel, vile, and generally not good teacher material, but we may have no others to turn to. You will not be there long, I assure you. There is only so much you can glean from a twisted mind. However, it is the path we walk, no matter what the cost. No matter what is asked of you.
The Meister doubles over in a violent coughing fit, struggling for breath. After a few moments, she regains her composure, wiping a thin smear of blood from the corner of her mouth.
No matter what is asked of you, you must learn from them. The Magisters have kept ledgers with all known sorcerers, especially the powerful ones not yet captured. They would be an invaluable resource. But do be careful not to get caught. I was their guest for a time, and I promise you the gallows was the most comfortable part of the experience. And if their barracks turns out to be as empty as their skulls, just try to keep an ear to the ground. There may still be powerful sorcerers hiding in these lands.
As she speaks, one of her wounds reopens, a dark red stain spreading across her tunic. She hisses in frustration and starts to bind the gash.
I wish there was more I could do, but in this condition, I would be more a hindrance than a boon. Godspeed, and remember, do whatever it takes.
The spirit of an elegant elven woman materializes before you. She seems surprised.
You can see me. A god woken in my presence. You honor me. I am the Meister's apprentice. I study under her, but I do not learn. I hear tales of the ritual, of what lies beyond. Such wonders, such powers. I decide to pursue them myself. Meister tells me it cannot happen, that I am not God-woken. But in my heart, I know I am special. I try. I burn the root. I breathe the smoke, and it burns me back. No air fills my lungs, only fire. When the darkness falls, I cannot cry out. I leave my life behind with a shameful whimper.
The spirit looks at you regretfully.
It is hard to hear of such power and not covet it for yourself. I lie to myself and convince myself that I am special. But I am not special. I am dead.
The Meister sits slumped in her chair.
What news? Can you channel enough source? Are you powerful enough to proceed? Of course, my supply has rather gone up in smoke. You can find more in the cloister woods to the northwest of Driftwood. Hardly a charming place, but it grows nowhere else. Then why, pray tell, are you wasting...
Good find.